Here's some more ribbon textures that we'll lay in, same as the other, and allow this firework to be finished. It's going to get to these edges, and I'm going to do a couple of things now. I want to take just some simple, this is a simple white and black tube, and make balls here that will be, in a sense, split off explosions. So these are little explosion balls where each firework goes to its final arc, comes to a sort of flowering of explosion pops at the outside edges. And this will be the midpoint before the demise. The demise of the petering out of the firework as it goes down, disappears. So these are like little pop, 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 pop. Not completely synchronous, but also fairly at the same time. All right. Going to go ahead now and add these explosion discs back on. These again are black, covering a very thin white shield. This is a thinner one, so this will be a pum pum. And from that, before that, I'm going to add a little bit more. I think I'm going to add some streaks of white that actually highlight this flowering concentric shape. And the reason for this is to sort of emphasize the gaps that are left by the twisted magenta and white firework. I could put in other colors here, because fireworks often, a yellow would be nice, but I'm not going to. It'll get the point across like that. Okay, this is the basic nugget of the firework. It has to now be supported with enough negative space weight that I'm working upside down right now, that when the flare comes up to the top, this black support post is there to keep the firework afloat. In order to truly finish this out, I'll be covering everything with black and adding a little support on either side so it doesn't fall over. So most of it is built now. The last part is the decay. I'll put this in. The truth about the decay is that I need to build it almost onto itself. This is not sturdy. The base of the fireworks support system, the negative clay that holds it up, is not sturdy, so I'm going to go ahead and make it sturdy. There. That'll at least keep it from falling over for now. This is like building its own separate piece. This is the decay piece. I'm going to add a little bit more to the flowing decay up top there. Okay. It's going to sit right there. So my plan is to use a little bit of these black decays, and sort of has to be a choppy version of the streaks. You don't want it to be consistent, you want it to be choppy. So what I'm going to do is take the same colored streaks and layer them up with black. And this will allow me to create a decaying pattern that uses the same kind of color scheme that was in the major exploding firework, but you can see it's now interrupted. And I'm going to put it on an angle that'll help it not feel so consistent. Put it on, let's see, okay, put that on an angle, put this on an angle, and now I have a real dynamic fluttering of color. It's all going to go one direction because these are all going to be sort of sheets. Oh, I'm going to make these also wedges. So they'll be decaying from the point of contact and then thinning out as they decline over this edge. All right. So these are going to be triangle shapes, if you will. Cut as little triangles. Triangle, triangle, triangle. And this will allow it to be thickest and most kind of alive at the top, and then thinnest as it decays for the bottom. All right. Now that we get off into the smaller parts, this is where it gets even thinner. The amount of black should be increasing steadily. The farther away you get from the source of the heat, the more these should become less and less. I'm going to go ahead and put in a second level here because sometimes it just feels right to have evolving decay and not just consistent one line. I'm trying to create a second level of the decay. Needs a little more black, needs to be much less color, more black amount of randomness. Fireworks are fun because they're just, little sporadic shapes, and they do follow this sort of very consistent evolution over time, which makes them also fun. They're not difficult to understand. Once you get the idea of what's going on in a firework, it's very simple geometric shapes, and that's what's kind of neat. They're not complicated human faces or anything like that, but they are still a recognizable event, and they have a time sculpture pattern to them. Okay, this piece goes on, needs to fit into this, and that is basically a firework. It's going to need a little black all around. The key to it being kind of fun to watch is making it invisible until it's revealed, so that you'd want to make it as dark as possible so you don't know what's coming in any of these shapes. and shoot it against a black background. So all of this is going to get encased in the thinnest of black clay, so it's not readily understandable what's going to happen when it first shows up. It's going to be a surprise. Every slice is going to be kind of its own reveal, as if you're discovering it, because the black doesn't show you all that has been built inside of it. All right. Okay. So it's oh, here's some more. It's probably a good thing to go ahead and support this anyway. So I'm going to use a little thicker ribbon of black to make sure that the two sides of it have some support, so that the structure of the weight is carried down to this. Now there's one last piece that needs to be added here, and that is that much as it grows from the front as you're cutting away, you also still have to support the back, because as you cut to this point, these pieces will be flying out in air. So you always have to respect gravity and build a support piece that allows it to taper down and away, assuming that black here is the neutral color, the color that is, call it invisible, or the see-through color, if you will. It supports the animation, but it's not supposed to really get in the way visually. At least what I'm doing now allows everything, once I get to these points, to still not be, these pieces won't be flying in midair. It'll be a decay slope that allows it to be held up. Now, maybe just to make it look a little nicer, I'm going to go ahead and pinch some of these parts together so they're a little more fluidly flowing. Even though they're just support pieces, they're not really intentional architecture. They're sort of necessary architecture. It's still good to sometimes put them together in a way that allows it to kind of have a more elegant shape. Now, it may not look like you know what the front or the back of it is, but you do know it goes this way. And that's what I've programmed inside here. And when this is cut away to be revealed, it's going to be a rocket going up. It's going to have two explosions, kaboom, kaboom. Then there's going to be the flowering of all the twisted shapes. Then each of these are going to go kaboom, 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 all along and then these are going to decay and go down. And then there'll be a tapering of a black blob disappearing off to the ground, which is just a necessary evil in order to have the animation not sag or stay in the proper spot. That's a firework.